Hello, my family and friends on YouTube and Facebook. Welcome to my channel and welcome to my space. Isn't it beautiful here? This is like one of my sacred places to go. It is so peaceful here. I'm blessed to be able to have this just a few miles from my house. Someplace I can kind of come and write in my book and do some meditation and every now and then do some videos out here because it kind of inspires me. And something I want to talk about today is about perspective. Perspective. We were talking on the last video, we were talking about the fork in the road. You know, taking two different choices, two different roads. One road leading to more of a negative type of road vibration, and the other fork leading more towards your higher vibrational, better choices. Now let's look at perspective, which actually has to do with your fork in the road and choosing. So perspective. So in the last video we were talking about for instance, somebody cutting you off while you're driving and stepping back into more of the observer mode rather than the reactive mode, and choosing consciously on which road to take and which emotion to take. And that's where perspective comes into play. Choosing to have perspective on being open to different perspectives more than just your own about life and other people and what happens, and just, you know, kind of, I think a fish just jumped, that was kind of cool. Just being able to change your perspective and just shift it just a little bit to be more open-minded to different things, more than just a closed-minded type of attitude. So where does that come into play with the fork in the road and taking the choices? Well, it pretty much talks about stepping into the now, but also broadening your horizons and opening your mind and thinking about more than just yourself at that moment, and putting yourself into somebody else's shoes, per se, and looking at a perspective maybe that is not just yours. You know, what is causing them to do that? What's causing them to act that way? What's causing their mindset, actually? And it all comes down to perspective, because you can look at something like that. Say you're minding your own business and you're doing whatever, and you're walking down the street, okay? You're walking down the street and you're minding your own business, and say somebody on a cell phone is walking towards you, and they actually bump into you, or boom, you know, shove into you. Now, there's your fork in the road. You can choose two ways. You can choose to get mad and say, hey, why don't you look out, you idiot, bleep, 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 you know, get off your phone, what are you doing, you know, watch what you're doing. Or you can take the other fork in the road and say, oh, excuse me, you know, whatever, take the higher road and go about your business. Now, choosing the perspective at how you look at that, what just happened, makes all the difference in the world. So you can use the perspective of, it's all about me, and why did that person come into my space? Why did that person do that to me? What does that sound like? It sounds like the victim mentality. Okay? The victim mentality. Why is this happening to me? What did I do to deserve this? Okay, that's a victim mentality. That's a perspective. Or you can shift that perspective when you choose that other fork in the road and say, wonder what that person was doing on his phone that was so important that they weren't looking where they were going and they ran into me. Okay, so step back and think about it. Could they be, you know, texting their friend about the party they're going to go to tonight? Could they be messaging somebody they're having an issue with? Could they be having a death in the family and they're really upset right now and not thinking about what's going on? And they're messaging, trying to figure out something, you know? It's all about perspective. So how many times do you have something happen to you where instead of reacting to everything, you step back, open your mind, shift your perspective, change your vibration, and look at it from a different point of view, from the victim mentality. Why me? What about me? Why does this happen to me? Why does this always happen to me? You know, bad things always happen to me. That's a victim mentality. That's not an empowering mentality. That's a mentality that's going to get you nothing but more things of happening to you and more bad things and more bad things. You see where that's going? The law of attraction, the magnet. So by shifting your perspective and changing it to more of a non-victim personality and perspective, then you're able to open your mind, look at things, shift your personality, shift your frequency, shift your vibration, shift your law of attraction to go the other direction. It sounds super simple. And in fact it is. When you really truly understand it, it really is very simple. Like I used to do with my horse training. I used to use the KISS method. Keep it simple, stupid. Keep it simple, stupid. Keep it simple. Don't make things so difficult. The more difficult that you make it, the more your analytical mind, your ego mind, steps in the way. So when your ego mind steps in the way, what do? You quit thinking from your heart. What does your mind always do? Does your mind always think out of love? Do things out of love? No, not usually. 9 times out of 10, your ego mind plays that victim mentality. Your ego mind steps in and wants more, wants relief, wants better things, want. Your ego is never satisfied. Ever satisfied. And I know this firsthand. I mean, it didn't matter when I was training horses. It didn't matter what I won, what I did, how much I acquired, how much I sold horses for. It didn't matter. You know, I made magazines, I made TV, videos. I mean, some of my YouTube training videos were at 40 and 50,000 hits. I should be completely satisfied, but I wasn't. Because your ego mind is never satisfied, ever satisfied. Because the more you feed the ego, the more the ego wants. It's like a hungry little ego, like, gimme, 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 gimme. And that comes from not having any self-love either, because I had no self-love at the time. So the ego was trying to step in and feed the heart what it needed. But through the ego mind, your heart's never satisfied, because it's through ego stuff. And your heart knows, your soul knows, that that's not right. That's not what life is about. Life is not about your ego mind. It's not. Life is about heart-centered feeling, thinking. And trust me, I know, I've been hurt so many times I can't even count. I've said in my previous videos, I've been to hell and back so many times I can't even count. In fact, I probably have claw drag marks back and forth. I've hit rock bottom multiple times. Because I wasn't thinking from my heart-centered base. I was thinking more of the ego base, the victim mentality. And once that victim mentality starts going away and you strip that victim mentality away, what's left? Heart-centered thinking. But it's really hard, you know, to think about doing things through the heart-centered mentality, because your heart has been hurt so many times. You've had so many daggers to your heart and so many swords to your heart. You've pulled out those swords and then more swords come in. and you've got all these scars that are, your heart is so scarred. There's so much scar tissue on your heart that it's just, can it ever really learn to trust again and learn to love again? Can it? Yeah, it can. Because when you get out of that victim mentality and that negative mindset and that victim, ego-centrical, want, need, victim attitude, and you start basing everything that you do and say from your heart space, all of a sudden things start shifting and changing. All of a sudden, things that come to you are more heart-related. All of a sudden, you start attracting people to you that are more like-minded. You start attracting things and situations and places that come from the heart and not the ego. Hence, law of attraction. And if you don't believe me, try it. Try it. Start thinking that way and see what happens. Shifting your perspective, shifting your mentality, and see what happens. I can guarantee you that everything in your life will start changing. It has to. It's the law of attraction. It is the law of the universe. You cannot think and love out of your heart and not have things come back to you that are not full of love. It just doesn't happen. Because when something does happen to you that is maybe not centered, you don't have that ego mentality or that victim mentality, and you think about it differently, so really it's not happening to you, because what they're projecting onto you is their own shadow side. So it's really not about you, is it? So that shifts your perspective about how people treat you and things that happen around you. Because it's really not about you, it's things around you that are reacting. And then it comes to how you react to the things around you. So if you start acting a more heart-based center, those things just kind of dissolve away and don't really cause an issue anymore. And then this good stuff come in. You have to declutter and clean house. Mentally, physically, emotionally. Take all those swords out of your heart and release that baggage of I'm not good enough. I'm not pretty enough. I'm not skinny enough. I don't have enough friends. I'm not this. I'm not that. I'm not perfect. Ha! Nobody's perfect. Nobody's perfect. When you start taking those swords out of your heart and you start thinking, I am good enough. I am deserving of love. I'm deserving of peace. I'm deserving of abundance. I'm deserving of having money. Get out of that poverty mindset of I'll never have enough and I'm always broke and, all that stuff. Because all that does is bring more things that you can't afford. And that you're going to always be broke because you're in that poverty mindset. Shift your perspective to I always have enough. I love how things work out for me. Things are always working out for me. I am totally blessed. God blesses me every day with little miracles and little blessings. I am so thankful to have a roof over my head. And I'm so thankful and love the rig that I drive. And I love the abundance that I have, that I can get into my rig, I can fill my tank up, and I can go for a drive and be free. I'm thankful to have this phone so I can do videos for you guys to help you guys out. I'm thankful to have the food that I can put in my belly to make me feel good and make me feel strong and make me feel secure and healthy. So really, all it is, it just comes down to perspective. That's it. Perspective. Change your perspective. Change your life. That's all it is. Now these are just things that I have been doing personally over the last year to change my life. This is nothing that I've read out of a book, watched on TV. This is real life. Real life is ugly, it's messy, it's disgusting, it's despiteful and irritating, but it's also beautiful and loving and miraculous and exciting and joyful and blissful. So many more other things. Which would you rather be? Which side would you rather be of that perspective? The glass is half empty, or the glass is always filling up and half full? Something to think about. Because you'll never be able to change your life, ever, if you're still in that poverty mindset, victim mindset, ego mindset. You'll never be able to change your life. Nothing will ever be good enough for you. You'll never be happy. Ever. While you're in that mindset. And it all starts with just shifting your perspective. I have enough. I'm beautiful enough. I'm my perfect weight. I feel physically fit. I feel amazing. I look amazing. I love myself. You know how hard that is for people to look in the mirror and say, I love you. I love myself. You are enough. That takes a lot for some people. But maybe just start with that. Maybe just start with that. Anyway, I was guided to do this video today to help you guys maybe shift your perspective a little bit on things and be able to bring you some peace and love from my favorite spot. So if you like this video, please click like and share and subscribe on my YouTube channel. I plan on bringing you guys a ton more videos. Things are just going to get better from here. Things are always looking up. I'm living my best life, and I am blessed daily. Peace out.